3, 2, 1. Thank you. Thank you for being here at this special board meeting. It is December 17th. I am going to ask our wonderful, capable, comparable superintendent to come. He was saying no already. He was like, no. Our superintendent to call roll for us, please.
Thank you, President Brooks. President Brooks.
I am here.
Trustee Lacqueretti.
Here.
Trustee McCutcheon.
I'm here.
Trustee Zhang.
Here.
Trustee Delgado.
Here.
And I am here.
Wonderful. Will the community outreach specialists please introduce themselves?
Thank you, Mr. President Brooks. Buenas tardes a todos. Si usted nos está viendo virtualmente o se encuentra en persona y necesita hacer un comentario y necesita interpretación en español, le podemos proveer interpretación si lo necesita. Gracias.
Thank you. 朋友们好，你知没？别在网一部车lang，是讲没签字翻话不一部填对你哦，安静。
Thank you. Nhớ rằng trong du sau này hát xuất tu, giờ ta có họ sai sai bên nhau trong hữu sự trong xio nó, trong đời lúc trong sĩ thằng nó ha họ sáng tại số hà lưu là giống mua lưu nốt lát chỉ là bây giờ mua món xài lưu giờ ta có họ sáng tàu ở trong đó. Thank you, Mr. President Brooks.
Thank you. Thank you to the community outreach specialists for all that they do. For those who are with us virtually and would like to make a public comment, please call 1-669-900-6833 and enter meeting ID 870-5781-1192. You will be placed in a virtual waiting room until the moderator of the meeting provides access to the live meeting. Identification of closed session topics. Number 1, Government Code Section 54957, Public Employee Appointment, Title, Learning Director. Number 2, Government Code Section 54957, Public Employee Discipline, Dismissal, Release, Complaint. And item number 3, Government Code Section 54957, Public Employee Performance Evaluation, Superintendent. At this time of the meeting, the public is invited to comment on items within the board subject matter jurisdiction in accordance with the board policies on items listed for closed session only. Comments from members of the public shall not exceed 3 minutes per individual or a total of 30 minutes. 20, I said 20, I meant 30. 20 minutes unless a majority of the board waives timelines. Mrs. Gates, do we have anyone in the queue?
President Brooks, there are no callers in the queue.
All right, with that being said, we will start closed session at 5:37. All right, let's get it going. Thank you for being here. It is December 17th. We are at a special board meeting. We are going to start the meeting at 7:06. And I'm going to read out what we achieved in closed session. In closed session, on a motion by Trustee Lackaretti and seconded by Trustee McCutcheon, the Board of Education voted to accept the appointment of Jennifer how you say her last name? Andrade, for the position of Learning Director at Gracie Elementary School as recommended by the administrative staff. Let's clap it up. The vote was unanimous.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. I want to welcome Jennifer Andrade as our new learning director. She's been a teacher since 2013, beginning in Manteca Unified School District and Sylvan Unified School District, before joining Turlock Unified School District in 2018. After 6.5 years with Turlock Unified, we are pleased that she joins our Merced City School District team, and she's here tonight to thank you for this opportunity. Please help me welcome Jennifer Andrade.
Thank you very much, board members and superintendent. I appreciate the offer, and I look forward to working with students, parents, and district office members, as well as all the administration in achieving all of our goals for our district. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Clap it up one more time. Hey, you come shake our hands. Come shake. Yeah. Yes. Congratulations. Merry Christmas to you too. Will the superintendent please call roll for us?
Yes, thank you, President Brooks. President Brooks.
I am here.
Trustee Lackaretti.
Here.
Trustee Zhang.
Here.
Trustee Delgado.
Here.
Trustee McCutcheon.
Present.
Thank you. We have enough for a quorum, President Brooks.
Beautiful. Will the community outreach specialists please introduce themselves?
Thank you, Mr. President Brooks. Buenas noches a todos. Si usted nos está viendo virtualmente o se encuentra en persona y desea hacer un comentario y usted habla español y necesita interpretación, le podemos brindar interpretación si lo necesita. Gracias.
Thank you แปลว่ามองอันนี้ที่ไม่เป็นตามมองอีบุยเหมือนฉลางสก็ไม่เชื่อมจะฟังว่าเป็นเมียนว่านะทุกจัดไฟกินเมียนสก็ไม่เชื่อมจะฟีจังจูทงและจัดแชทโอแปลงจริง
Thank you. Nhớ rằng cho nên hát cho tụ giờ ta có họ sai bé ha họ sáng tạo cái tài liệu ha ô lù mong chỉ tuyên cho nó hot session nó thọ sai lu bắn cái nhớ chú hồ can trong để cắt lại screen a click cho nó họ cứ sau hoa tầm mong là giờ có họ mua lu nút lắm chỉ là chỉ sáng hàng tới số hà lu lắm chỉ là có gì một tàu cho nó hot chat cái nhớ cho nó cắt lại screen ở trong đó. Thank you, President Brooks.
Thank you. Thank you to the community outreach specialists for all that they do. Superintendent, could you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes. Everybody please stand. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Guess what? We got some new trustees today that we will be doing a swearing in. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to our wonderful, our comparable Superintendent Stockton.
Thank you, President Brooks. We now have our ceremonial oath of office. I would like to ask, we'll start with Trustee Delgado, and if she would like to have any of her friends or family join us here.
Hey, let's all stand.
Oh, excellent.
Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California. That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations and welcome to the Merced City School District Board of Education Trustees.
Congratulations.
Okay, next we have trustee. Okay. So we now have the ceremonial oath of office for our trustee Dijon.
I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of California. That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations and welcome to the Merced City School District Board of Trustees.
Get in the front.
We are aware that we may have some members of the public that would like to speak, as we normally have general public comment at a regular scheduled board meeting. We do want to share that it is important for us as a team to listen to our community. And so we are going to continue with the agenda item. And then when we get to after the board recognition of our student, then we will start with the public comment component and provide the details, then allowing up to 20 minutes per topic, 3 minutes per speaker. So we'll do that following the board recognition for our student, okay? Just so the public is aware. Thank you.
So right now, we're at election of officers. I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent Stockton.
Thank you. So we are now at the section of the annual organization meeting of election of officers. So I am now going to open to our Board of Trustees that the nomination is open for president of our Merced City School District School Board.
I would like to nominate trustee Lackeretti for president.
I'll second.
So that is a nomination by trustee McCutcheon and a second by trustee Zhang. Okay. Can I get a motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Nays have the same right. Motion carried.
We will now open the floor for nominations, open for board clerk. Can I get a nomination for board clerk of Merced City School District Board?
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Annie Delgado for clerk. I would also like to make a motion to nominate Alan Brooks for clerk.
I'm hearing a nomination for trustee Delgado and a nomination for trustee Brooks. Would anyone like to second the motion for nomination Delgado?
I'll second.
That is a second by trustee Zhang. We also have a nomination for board clerk, trustee Brooks. Would anyone like to second the nomination for trustee Brooks for board clerk? With that, I will take it now to each for a vote. Can I get a motion for the nomination of board clerk for trustee Delgado?
So moved. Right? We already did that first, and there's a first and a second.
First and second?
So you want an individual?
Yes, since we had two.
We can just do all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays have the same right. Motion carried.
Thank you. I will now review the results. Moving forward, our new board president will be President Lackeretti. And our new board clerk, trustee Delgado. Okay. So we will now change seats.
Oh.
Yes. We'll have our board president switch here. And then we'll have our clerk take your spot where you were, Priya.
I'll get it. I promise I'll get it. Again, thank you. Thank you to my colleagues. So the next item is, according to bylaw 9100 of the board, we recognize the superintendent as secretary to the board.
Thank you, President Lackeretti. This is now an opportunity for us to discuss and confirm committee assignments. Our new board president will now list the board committees assignments available, and we will have our board members' assignments for each committee.
Is there a script? Yeah, where is that script? You just read off these. The first one is board policy. Okay, the first committee is the Board Policy Subcommittee, and the meeting frequency is as needed. And so we're looking for board members. The previous board members were Bertie Olivares Kidwell and myself, Priya Lakareddy, so. And we'll need 2 names for each of the subcommittees, correct? Yes.
So when you talk about meet as needed,
Yes.
they don't give you really, they just call you out the blue or text, email you out the blue?
So what it basically does, Raquel will email us when there's updates, and basically whenever we update our board policy, you'll see like there's a first reading and then we put in consent agenda. So it's sometimes the CSBA recommends few changes, so those are the things that we need to work on. So we're just going to meet as needed, so there's no dates.
So when you talk, okay, so when you talk about meet as needed, is there like a specific time, kind of, sort of, that's the biggest thing, is the time frame?
I can share that. I would say it would probably be a maximum of once a month.
Time, like what time would they meet?
We would accommodate with your schedule. So if it needs to be after work hours, we would do that. And I think in past, they've been for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Yes. Enough time to review current policy as well as CSBA recommendations through Gamut.
I wouldn't mind doing that.
And I'll stay on too, so just so there's some continuity. And in the last year, I met a couple of times, so. Do you have the names? So do we have
Yes,
to
so
do
new
a motion?
members, it looks like we have our trustee McCutcheon and President Lakareddy will continue. We'll go through the next
And the
one.
next one is the budget. So again, as needed, I've never met, the subcommittee has never met. So, but we'll continue, I'll continue to stay on. If there's another member who's interested, that would be great.
Everybody?
Okay, thank you. Trustee
money.
Zhang, you love money?
So for the budget subcommittee, we have trustee Zhang as well as President Lakareddy.
Thank you. And the next one is the East Merced County Public Facilities Financing Authority, dearly known as EMCPFFA, and we meet quarterly. The dates are already available. I don't recall them. We just met, so we won't meet for another quarter. I and Trustee Brooks are on the committee, and I'm happy to stay on as well.
Yeah, I'll stay on.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And the next one is the facilities. It says we meet 3 times a year, and Trustee Brooks was on there and it's currently vacant, so okay.
Volunteer.
I'll stay on and then someone else.
Yes. So we have Trustee Brooks and Clerk Delgado. And the next one is the Health and Wellness Committee. Again, we meet quarterly. A lot of important information. The meetings are on Zoom. You can come in person, but I've attended the meetings on Zoom, so I'm happy to give this off to someone else. Okay. Clerk Delgado. Anybody else interested? I'll stay on. And then the next one is the Merced County School Boards Association. Say that again? Oh, for health and wellness, it's going to be myself and Clerk. Trustee Delgado. Yeah. Is it still myself and Trustee Brooks? For the Merced County School Boards Association Quarterly Subcommittee, you just need one and an alternate, right?
Yes.
Anybody interested to serve on the Merced County School Boards Association? I'd like to recommend Trustee Brooks. Okay. Anyone else? Can somebody please let us know what does this subcommittee do? And you go to the meetings of the Merced County School Boards Association? Is that what it is?
Go to the meetings and then you help plan the Monterey conference and things like that, the trainings and stuff like that.
Any takers? Okay.
Okay, so I have, for Merced County School Boards Association, we have trustee clerk Delgado.
And then you need an alternate, and
Yes.
I'll be the alternate.
Thank you.
And the last and final committee is the Safety Committee, and it's minimally quarterly. And, okay, Trustee Zhang? Anyone else? That's a lot of,
Safety, I'll do safety.
okay. Trustee
Okay, so
Brooks.
Thank you. Safety Committee, trustee Zhang, as well as trustee Brooks. Do you need us to read out any others?
There's one
Yeah,
last
there
one on
is
the back.
the Merced County Public
excuse me.
Finance Authority. It's a quarterly, it's a quarterly meeting. And currently, it's trustee Brooks and myself, and I don't remember ever meeting for this one. So,
No.
I'll take it.
so do you still want to be on it?
Sure, of course. All that hard work we be doing, of course.
Yeah. You have,
Okay, so for MC Public Finance Authority, I have trustee Brooks. Do we have another trustee?
I'll just stay on there.
Okay, and President Lackaretti. I will add for the facilities, currently the meeting frequency is 3 times a year for trustee Brooks as well as trustee clerk Delgado. With our bond passing and all of the facility projects we have coming up ahead, I do anticipate we will be meeting more frequently. Will that be okay? Thank you.
And then if at some point someone can't make it, do you need alternates, or how does that work?
No, we have our 2, so usually we can proceed and we'll follow up with you all. Yes.
And what is the process if someone doesn't want to continue on the committee?
You would notify the board president and myself as the superintendent so we can find someone to step in place. But it is a commitment that we want to make sure we're keeping.
Okay, perfect. I was only smiling because my kids told me to smile. They're taking a picture. Okay. So now we're on item 6, board recognition. Board recognition for Carter Morris. Carter,
If we can please have our student, Carter Morris, come up to the podium. And I believe we have his teachers here with them as well as his family.
and you're going to read the background information. Yeah.
Yes.
I saw you dancing, Carter. You have moves.
We don't have one.
Oh, just come face the camera. Yeah, turn around, face the camera.
We are honored to share that our very own Merced City School District student, Carter Morris, a 5th grader at Joe Stephanie Elementary School, was hand-selected to accompany Governor Gavin Newsom in the annual tree lighting ceremony at the state capitol in Sacramento, California on Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. Carter was selected by Central Valley Regional Center to represent the more than 450,000 Californians with intellectual and developmental disabilities who receive these services. Carter is an amazing individual, one of 6 siblings, and began receiving services from CVRC in 2018. He and his family have accessed essential supports to help him thrive in and out of school. Carter is a bright and active elementary school student who enjoys learning about outer space and math. We're now going to have his teacher say a few words.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mrs. Del Maso, to Carter Madison Del Maso. It's such an honor and privilege to be his teacher. He just absolutely lights up the room and inspires our lessons, brings such a zest to learning in life. So I want to share a little snippet. Upon his return from the Capitol, and that morning I had said, Carter, go ahead and go up to the board and share a little bit about, this cool adventure that we know and we've been cheering you on. And so I, thought that he was going to speak. Well, he took to the expo markers, and before we know it, we had this whole entire board full of the car on the freeway and getting to the Capitol. And we stayed at the HYATC, the Hyatt, and we had the Hyatt emblem. And it was just so cool to see his thinking and the way that he totally brought to life his experience. And I couldn't have selected anyone to better represent our district and then also our school site. So thank you so much. And I love teaching you and having you in my room, so thank you.
So now we're going to open for public comment. Is there a script for that? There's no script, right?
Before we do this, before we do the public comment, I just wanted to give a shout out to Tanaya Middle School, Amber Hall and her team for a wonderful job they did on February 13th, I believe. I'm not February, Lord Jesus. December 13th, with some stuff that was going on outside of the school, but they made sure that the school was secure on the inside and our students were taken care of. So again, an amazing job you guys did to take care of our students, and I appreciate that.
So before we start public comments, I'm going to read a little script. Comments from members of the public shall not exceed 3 minutes per individual or a total of 20 minutes unless a majority of the board waives timelines. Please go ahead and start with your comment.
Okay, my name is Brooke Fuller. I'm a kindergarten teacher here at Chenoweth, and over the weekend, our staff was informed that our head custodian, Jaime Guzman, would be moving to a different school site starting after the holiday because the district decided to shuffle custodians. Jaime was not given a reason as to why he was being moved, and in moving Mr. Jaime, who's been a part of our site for over 9 years, you're not only moving our head custodian, but you're moving our family member. Mr. Jaime goes above and beyond the role of custodian. He has built irreplaceable relationships with students and staff. He stays late and comes early without any extra pay to ensure that his tasks and others are always completed. He takes on so much more than the job description and does so with a smile on his face. He's coached our basketball and soccer teams after school and led them to a recent soccer championship. He stays late to help at our annual fall carnival to ensure the event goes off without any issues and everyone gets home safely. Jaime has a knack for building connections with students, and he has a genuine love for the students at Chenoweth, and the feeling is mutual with the students. My students light up when they see Mr. Jaime come in the classroom, and he's been known to join a dance party and yoga lesson or two. A kindergartner who's new to Chenoweth and MCSD this year chose to dress up as Mr. Jaime for Halloween because he's his hero. You're taking that away from that MCSD student, the students we are all here for. Students' needs above everything else, right? If complaints were filed against Mr. Jaime to cause this move, were the complaints fully investigated by HR? If the move is made because of complaints, if it's not made because of complaints, why rush to make the switch in the middle of the school year, disrupting the flow of the routines and procedures of the school? Being one of the very few male adults on campus, Mr. Jaime has been a constant in many students' lives who otherwise may not have someone that fills that role. Students count on Mr. Jaime being at their school each and every day and will be devastated to know that he was just moved because he can be. This move would greatly impact the students and entire staff of Chenoweth. Students and staff alike are greatly saddened, and it feels as if we're losing a family member. Mr. Jaime, in the last 2 years, our site has gotten a new principal, a new learning director, a new office manager, and a new school liaison. So now we're adding a new head custodian to that list. So safety is a priority for our district. Every single person that's in charge of safety at our campus is essentially new to their position. That doesn't feel safe. This district constantly pushes the one team and better together, but nothing about this feels better. Nothing about this feels together. And we are definitely not one team without Mr. Jaime at Chenoweth. Please reconsider this move and allow Mr. Jaime to stay where he belongs at Chenoweth with his school family. We have a petition online that has over 200 signatures in just one night, including a paper petition with over 250 signatures, all signatures from your stakeholders, the very people you want to speak up and provide input. They're using their voice this way to tell you that they don't agree with this decision. In my hand, I have over 500 letters written by the student body at Chenoweth.
Thank you for your comment. Can we please start the mic? Thank you.
Good evening, members of the school board. Welcome to Ms. Delgado and Mr. Zhang. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Brianne Collister. I'm the parent of 3 children who have attended Chenoweth Elementary for several years. And I also serve as the current president of the Parent Teacher Club at Chenoweth. As someone who is deeply involved in our school, and on behalf of Chenoweth parents, I ask you to please request that the superintendent and other district personnel reconsider this decision to transfer our head custodian, Mr. Jaime, to another school site after winter break. For years, Mr. Jaime has been a vital part of our Chenoweth family, someone with who our students look up to, trust, and genuinely care for. I have seen firsthand the positive, lasting impact he has had on our children. His presence is more than just part of the school's routine. It is an emotional anchor for the students, and removing him would deeply affect them. These are young children, little human beings with big feelings. They feel every change deeply. And this decision, if carried out, will break many of them. Many of these students have already experienced disruption in their lives in many ways, and they deserve stability, especially in their school environment. I understand that staffing decisions are often made with many factors in mind, but I urge you to consider the significant impact this will have on the students at Chenoweth Elementary, who view Mr. Jaime as more than just an employee. He is a deeply cherished role model for many of our children, especially as a male figure in an environment where positive male role models are already in short supply. Unfortunately, last year, our district made the decision to relocate another male role model, our principal, Mr. Descoto, to Stoll Elementary. Losing Mr. Descoto was a tough moment for our school, and now losing Mr. Jaime would be a blow that would be hard for our students to recover from. Our children need male role models who are consistent, who show up, and who care about them. In closing, I would like to paint a picture for you of the type of person Mr. Jaime is for us. For several years, Mr. Jaime has been a steady presence at our school, particularly during afternoon pickup. Every day for the last several years, until just recently, he has stood at the NPR gate and waved goodbye to the children as they leave the campus. As they leave, he greets the students by name, he learns their routines, and even memorizes which car each student is picked up in so he can yell to them and let them know that their ride is there. This small yet deeply personal gesture shows how much Mr. Jaime cares for each child, not just as a student, but as an individual. This kind of relationship building goes far beyond his job description and speaks volumes about his character. His presence is a reminder to all of us that small acts of kindness and attention can make a lasting impact on a child's sense of belonging and self-worth. Again, I respectfully ask you to request that the district reconsider the decision to transfer Mr. Jaime. Our Chenoweth family has already experienced the loss of an important male figure this year, and we simply cannot afford to lose another. I understand that there are reasons behind the decisions being made, but I ask you to consider the human impact of this decision.
Thank you for your comment. If someone wants to yield their time to her.
Time and for your consideration of this issue. We hope you will hear our voices and take into account the profound impact this decision will have on our students. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Hi, my name is Kenzie, and I'm a former Chenoweth student. I have known Mr. Jaime since I was in kindergarten, and now I'm in 8th grade. He has always been such a kind and helpful person, and whenever there was any kind of situation, he would come to help. I couldn't imagine Chenoweth without Mr. Jaime. He has become more than just a custodian, he has become like family. Please reconsider moving Jaime and allow him to stay with his Chenoweth family. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Hello, board. I would like to thank you all for the service that you provide to our community. I know that it takes a lot of your time, and I know that it is a burden for which it is often thankless. My name is Mia. I wrote you all an email. President Laccaretti, thank you so much for responding to it. I'm coming here as a parent, a community member, and a member of our Chenoweth PTC. My family moved here in July, and we entrusted Chenoweth Elementary with not only my son's education, but also his transition into a new, unfamiliar environment. One of the first connections my son made at Chenoweth was with custodian Mr. Jaime. Just 6 weeks into school, my son admired him so much that he chose to dress as Mr. Jaime for Halloween. If any of you have seen the online petition, you will see the image of the two of them next to each other. It's very sweet. I consider this a testament to the positive impact Mr. Jaime has had on the children there. In this pivotal time of adjustment, Mr. Jaime has been a comforting, steady presence for my son, as I'm sure he has been for countless other students over the years. Continuity matters, especially for the children who thrive on routine and the stability of familiar, trusted faces. Losing Mr. Jaime would disrupt that sense of security, not just for my son, but for the entire Chenoweth community. I urge you to consider how valuable Mr. Jaime is, not only as a custodian, but as a role model, a source of comfort, and an integral part of the Chenoweth family. Please keep him at Chenoweth for the benefit of all the children who look up to him and all of the staff who trust him to support them. Thank you for your time and your dedication to our schools, our children, and our community.
Thank you for your comment.
Good morning, board. Good morning. Can you tell it's Christmas break? My name's Megan Pfister. I'm a first grade teacher at Chenoweth, and I also have 2 young girls at Chenoweth. This is why I don't want to do this. I just want to share with you 20 of those letters that Mrs. Fuller has came from my first grade students. As we were writing reasons why they were safe. Sorry. He greets us every morning. He knows my name. He teaches me that it's okay to make mistakes. These are your stakeholders. They are the only ones that matter.
Thank you for your comment. Can you give us the letters that you have, can you? Okay. Okay, thank you. We don't have any online callers, right? We're not, okay. Any other comments before we close public comment? Going once, going twice? There you go. Okay, we move on to our next item, which is information item number 7, Sunshine Letter from the Merced Teachers Association. Presentation by Dr. Don Hubble, Director of Human Resources.
Good evening, trustees, and community members, colleagues, superintendent, and executive cabinet. The union will offer a letter called a Sunshine, and the district will respond with a letter. The exchange of these letters start a process of negotiations between a union and a school district. In California, the Board of Education holds a public hearing with the board meeting for public comments and a board action only for the MCSD letter that starts that process for the district. But the purpose of this as an information item to you is that it does not become public information until it is presented on an agenda for a board. This does not require a vote on your behalf. It is only an informational item. Thank you.
Do you have any public comments? Any public comments for this item? Any board discussion on this item? If not, we will move to our next item, which is the school boundary adjustment and 6th grade move to middle school board presentation. Presentation by Mr. Brian Bain, Director of Facilities.
Good evening, Madam President and trustees. Thank you for listening to us here this evening. So as you guys are aware, we've had a process started here for a while now. We've had board workshops and provided information in the past about what we're doing as a district to prepare for the concept of boundary adjustments and to prepare for the concept of potentially moving 6th graders to middle schools. We want to make sure that we are working transparently. You'll see that in this process we have included not just the board, not just staff, but we're branching out and moving beyond that. So we'll get going here with this presentation. So on the next slide, you'll get a refresher about the community and partner input that we're reaching out to from our board facilities subcommittee, boundary adjustment committee, staff members, the student advisory committee, which we're in the early stages of getting formed, reaching out to parents and to the community, all so that we can get the process going and provide information we'll collect, we'll analyze, we'll get it, and we'll share that with you guys so you can make decisions about timeline and the plans that we're going to put into place. So the next slide will show you what we've done so far. The left side is a lot of historical information, things we went over, lots of previous workshops, presentations about facilities in general, master plans and so forth. Moving towards where we are on the right-hand side, about halfway down. Our boundary adjustment subcommittee has met now 5 times, starting back in September. We've had 2 staff meetings open to all MCSD staff to come in and share their thoughts, provide information, and things that they think would be beneficial in this process. And we held our first community outreach meeting on December 3rd of this month. And we had some great feedback from the community as well, including how we're marketing this, going from expanding beyond the point that we're looking at boundary adjustments to also include the concept of 6th graders finding a new home at our middle schools, just so we can make sure that we are fully transparent in what we're presenting. The next slide will focus a little bit more just on the boundary committee work that we've been doing. You'll see that back in September, we had 1 committee meeting, branched out into October, where we had 2 committee meetings, a staff forum, and a board update presented by Mr. Sergio Mendez. In November, we continued community meetings, had another staff forum, and had a board workshop down at the district office, which everyone was in attendance for. And then earlier this month, we had a committee meeting, community meeting, you'll see on the far right, and now another board update this evening. So you'll see how we're stretching out now beyond just our staff reaching out to try and get some more information. At that workshop last month, we presented some different scenarios and timelines. Scenario number one we talked about was district-wide boundary adjustments while keeping sixth graders at our elementary campuses and implementing this for the 25-26 school year. At that time, we told you we would come back with more information on what this might look like on paper. So the next slide, you'll see what we call map option one presented to us by our demographers. So map option one, again, this is boundary adjustments and keeping sixth grade at middle school. This is, we call it the cookie cutter type approach. So you'll see that there are 4 areas throughout the map, and taking, like a cookie cutter, taking this segment of students and transferring them to another school site. The reason our demographers took this approach and these particular students is at their current elementary schools, they're already outside the walking distance. So they're already eligible for bus service. So now it would just be changing the destination for the buses that those students would be getting on. So the positive, you're not impacting as many students. The negative, you are taking some students quite a few distance away from their home with longer bus rides.
I would just pause just for our trustees and the public. When Director Bain is referring to those 4 areas, if you'll look at the map with those sections, the yellow one is area 1. The yellow-green one is area 2. At the top of the map, you'll see in a aqua color area 3, and then you'll see to the left of the yellow area 4 in green. Those are those 4 sections of which have been identified, of which we would shift students, and it gives you that information to the right on the slide. Okay.
Thank you. So the next slide, if you go there, that shows you the data, the results of this transition, what it would do, what it would look like. It shows our current utilization in the second column from the right there for our school campuses. But if you go back, you'll see the numbers associated with that on their 24-25 current enrollment. And then if you look, this would be implemented for next year in theory. And so the 25-26 show the projected enrollment for next year. So that would show you the impact what this change would have on those particular schools. You'll notice that since sixth graders are staying in this scenario, they would be staying at middle schools, that the middle school numbers aren't going to be significantly impacted. The next slide shows what we call, it's a larger scale map option for the same scenario. So, but what this does is now you'll see that there are 15 total areas in theory that would be impacted, moving students so that they're not going as far from home, but there would be more students impacted because there would be multiple students shifting from highly populated areas to another area to another. It'd be kind of the trickle down effect. So there would be 15 areas impacted with up to about 1,230 students that would be in different schools next year than they are this year. The positive that there'd be more students impacted, but it'd be less time on buses for those impacted students. So rather than have students from extremely North Merced out in the El Capitan area being bused to Gracie, it would shift them all so that they're closer to home.
This would also mean less travel time on the bus.
Can I ask a quick question here? Like, have you done studies on the approximate travel time that it would?
That is our next step. Yes.
Okay, so
currently we have bus routes that would extend, I would say, we would ideally like to have travel routes no more than 45 minutes to an hour.
Each way?
Yes. But we do have some of which they are up to an hour and 15, some an hour and 30, depending on the route itself.
Like each way?
Correct, with our existing boundary, and that is another one of the reasons why we have to look at that adjustment.
Thank you.
And so with the 15 areas that are impacted, next slide will show you what the impact would be on the enrollment with the same data for those for those impacted schools and students. So it is a bigger adjustment because there are more schools being impacted with a lot more students, but it will allow for students to spend less time on buses, transportation-wise. The next scenario, we called it scenario 2, and this was what we called or kind of referred to as ripping the Band-Aid off. This was district-wide boundary adjustments and moving sixth graders to middle schools all at the same time for next school year. So this was the one that would be a lot more work and anticipation, or a lot more work and less preparation, but it is kind of, it's one scenario that we did discuss. The next slide you'll see is actually, it's using middle school boundary adjustments with scenario option 2 just for a basis. You know, those numbers would change. So the map 2 that showed the 15 different school sites being impacted, or the 15 areas, that would be implementing when we get to the data, it would be that map combined with this map, what it would look like. So this would relocate approximately 1,200 students to middle school for next year. And then it would also impact about 300 existing 7th graders that would be in 8th grade. If you look at the areas, you'll see the middle school boundary adjustments we'd be looking at are 3 of them are north of Olive Avenue, where we have, you know, a lot more student population at this point in time. 3 of these areas impact Rivera Middle School students. And then there is a rather large area around the district office that would transfer from being Hoover students to Tenaya students. So that's where those map lines would be drawn. You see on the map that's over here behind Linda and Raquel, the blue lines are the existing boundaries, and the colored areas are the proposed boundaries that would go along with this map change. And full data is still being collected on all of these, so these are just very preliminary maps. If you look at the next slide, it shows the data that goes along with this. So you will see a big jump in the number of students attending our middle schools down at the bottom part of that map, or bottom part, with the enrollment numbers dropping it drastically at our elementary schools because they would be losing 6th grade students. One thing to notice on this is that in 5 years, you'll see that our elementary population is going to be very well controlled as far as the capacity goes, with one exception, which would be Peterson Elementary School, and we'll get to that here in a minute. But you'll notice that we also have our middle schools then would be all in the mid 90s or above, with Rivera being at 123% capacity in 5 years. Scenario option 3 was the first of the 2 phased options that we looked at. This would be adjusting elementary school boundaries for next school year for the 25-26 year, followed with the transition from 6th graders to middle schools for 26-27. There are no maps available for this yet because this is still early on, but if you look at the data that goes along with this on the next slide, you will see again down the road projection, our elementary schools are all in good shape. And then you'll see that Rivera Elementary still faces the same type of problem. One thing to look at on this is the 25-26 enrollment is our elementary school numbers will stay about the same. Enrollment numbers stay about the same for next year because there are just being some boundary adjustments, but then you'll see the significant drop with the increase at middle school for the following year when the 6th graders move. And then the next scenario, scenario number 4, same 2 options, just flip-flopping the pattern in which we do it. So it'd be 6th graders 1 year, then followed by the boundary adjustments the following year. The end result is the same. It would just be the next year you'd see the student increase at the middle schools, followed by the boundary adjustments of elementaries the following year.
So under scenario 3, just trying to make sure I'm clear, that would allow the middle school principals or staff to prepare more adequately than if we were to send.
Correct. It would give district staff across the board more time to prepare, whether it be for the academic needs, the facility needs, anything that's associated with the students moving. Would give them more time to come up with the plan to put into place. So,
I would also add that at this time, our boundaries committee, adjustment boundaries committee, and moving 6th grade to middle school, we are very much leaning toward recommending scenario 3. We are just waiting for those specific maps because number 1, it will give us a timeline to then take action moving forward and really focus our attention and efforts, as you shared, Trustee Clerk Delgado, regarding development of our educational program for our middle schools, as well as focusing in on map options for elementary boundary adjustments through January, so that we have an opportunity to share those and continue to engage with our community as well.
thank you for that. And then the next slide, we talk about building projections. So this is what we're moving forward, projected subdivisions and developments taking place within our district boundaries. If you look at the map, you'll see a huge number of developments happening in North Merced. These are impacting primarily students that would be attending Rivera, Crookshank, Peterson, and then a few for the Joe Stephanie and Franklin School District areas as well. If you look, the city has already received plans and reviewed for applications for 23,839 homes that are within our district boundaries. Of those, in the next 6 years, we expect 1,983 to be completed. The demographer's projections for that are just under 500 TK through 6 students and 139 7th and 8th grade students. So that would be the impact over the next 5 years in our school enrollments.
I would like to add that this is something we added to the presentation. We think that it is very important that as a district, we're looking not only at what our current challenge is, but that we are also thinking strategically throughout the course of the next 5 to 7 to 10 years as a long-term plan. And so that when we are making recommendations and decisions related to boundary adjustments and moving 6th graders in 2 years to the middle school, that we are also thinking and strategically planning for the building of a new school. We know that we will be positioned to build a new school. We will actively start that process in 2 years so that when we get to this point, we are already in process of the development of our new school. And at that time, right now, you'll notice that there's a projected age level of number of students. We will have confirmation of the ages of those students, and that will be a determiner of whether we will build a new middle school in North Merced or whether that will be an elementary school in North Merced. But at that point in time, we will actually have confirmation of the age of our students. So we're very much looking forward to that and want to have that big picture, long-term strategic plan in mind as we're making these short-term decisions as well.
Correct. And looking at the numbers that we saw in those previous tables, no matter which route we go, when it does come time to build a new school, a lot of that's going to be determined by the decision this board makes in the upcoming months about where 6th graders are going to be enrolled. So if they're going to remain in elementary schools, there's a good chance we'll be looking at an elementary school site. If they're in middle school, we'll be looking at a middle school. So that's something to keep in mind. Our next slide actually takes this map and puts it into numbers and shows you how it's going to impact our district and our enrollment. So it does projections of the houses that are being built and which schools they're going to impact. One thing I would like to note on this is they do have separate lines for Franklin and Stephanie, but they only added those totals up one time because they do share boundaries, so that those homes were not counted 2 times. But you see, if you look across, the major impacts on our elementary schools are going to be at Franklin, Stephanie, and Peterson. And if you look down at middle schools, there's going to be a significant increase, over 1,400 homes built in the Crookshank district, with another 400 built in Rivera. So that's where the students are going to be coming from, these new homes that are being proposed to be built here in Merced. The next slide is going to show one area of concern that we have district-wide, and that is Rivera. Right now, Rivera campus, elementary and middle, they're on one ground divided by a fence, which you'll see outlined in the red line there. On the left side of that map is Rivera Elementary School. On the right side of that map is Rivera Middle School. The fence separates it. The only caveat is right now that gate's open because Rivera Elementary actually has expanded into 5 classrooms on the Rivera Middle School campus. So when we're talking about these students being or this campus being overpopulated, over enrollment, it's already there. They're already expanded into Rivera Middle School campus. And all of these projections that we have and all of these options, we've asked the demographer to go back and kind of tighten down and maybe be more aggressive or look at these options, because no matter which route we're looking at, if you add up the total of those 2 campuses, it's beyond the capacity of this location. So whether the 6th graders stay at elementary school and the 7th and 8th graders stay in middle school, we're over capacity in 5 years at that campus, no matter which route we go. If they go to the middle school and the elementary school is just TK through 5, the total combined enrollment at both those schools is over the combined capacity. We're looking at either way over 1,500 students at that location. In some instances, over 1,600. So there is a definite need for us to address this one way or another, and we're working with our demographers to come up with other alternatives to the map so we can make sure that this isn't something we're going to have to be very super aggressive on again in 2, 3, 4 years. So, and then this last slide, I'd like to thank all our team and all our stakeholders for the input they've provided so far. This process is not done; it's far from over. I want to thank them for their time and effort and their help. Some of them are even here tonight, so thank you guys for taking time away from your families to be here with us. And then I'd like to give you guys the opportunity to answer any questions or provide any feedback from what you've seen here tonight. I know it's a lot to take in, but we're always here to help.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Brain, for the presentation. And I believe we do have a caller online, so we'll try to take that public comment and then we'll go for board discussion, because I'm sure we have
a little bit.
A lot of questions.
President Lacaretti, I have admitted caller 271.
For those who are with us virtually, okay, so they're already in the system. Caller 271, please share your comment. Can you hear us? Caller 271, please share your comment. Can you please press *6 to unmute?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, please share your comment.
My name is Kashana Ashford, and I have been before the board numerous times with reference to the racism towards my children. This district has reached an all-time low in my mind because now my second grader at 7 years old has been called a nigger for the first time. At this point, how much more evidence, how many more times do I have to do this? It's repetitious and it's getting old, and this district is not acting. I'm trying to understand why there's a new superintendent, and this was not on some type of matrix of, hey, you have to meet this goal, you have to stop this or attempt to stop this or change things that are going on in this district. Instead, you guys approve a dual immersion school. That's the least of this district's concerns when these kids can barely read and write or count. You have bullying issues throughout the district, racial bullying towards African American students. At what point are you going to do something to stop it? I pray with Annie being sworn in tonight that there will be some changes, swift changes in this district. And whose idea was it to take one of the few bright spots at Chenoweth away from my children? Mr. Jaime does not need to be moved to another school. He needs to stay put. He's continuity. He's kindness in action, in human form. He's a part of the Chenoweth family, of teachers, of the kids. The kids love him. You're doing a disservice to that school by taking him from that school. This district has bigger issues than a dual immersion school, bigger issues than spending the ELOP funds on a building when you're getting a new STEAM center, but the kids can't read and write. This board needs to get it together out ways to move this district forward and out of 1964. Because you're chilling in 1964 and we're in 2024 on the cusp of 2025, and you need to make moves quickly that will affect change throughout the district, positive changes for all students in this district. Get it together for the sake of these kids. That's why you're here. We don't need to clap it up and whoop it up and for the kids when they're in that building in front of you guys. We need to do real work. I'm a parent. I'm willing to do the work so my kids don't have to experience what they're experiencing in this district. If you need new leaders, find them. Do different, do better for these kids, and leave Mr. Jaime alone. Leave that man alone and in his role. You have bigger fish to fry than trying to move your custodial staff around.
Okay, thank you for your comment. Now we'll go back to questions. And any questions from the board? Discussion? I can start off with a question. On one of your slides, I see this one where it says, what have we done so far? So on here, I see that we've only done one with the community. And so this decision will have an enormous impact on the community, on the parents, and on the students. So what is the plan? How many more sessions? Can you tell me how many attended this session? Can you tell me how many we have in plan?
At that session, we probably, I would guess, had about 15 parents show up. We had multiple staff members. We had, very good turnout for our first one. We did get wonderful feedback. We're implementing that into the way we're moving forward. We do fully intend on getting more of them out there. We actually even took the board's advice, and we have some of those parents that have given us their contact information so that they can become part of the boundary adjustment committee that the district has put together. So we are working to move forward with community input so that we can make sure that we are as transparent as possible and that we are going out there. This is a tough time of year. They let us know that too, to have community engagement. So we are going to be picking up again, full steam again after the first of the year.
So one of my concerns is we're asking to be make a decision in January or February. First week of February, or the first board meeting of February. And by that time, I don't know if we will have enough adequate community input, because a lot of this depends on, for me, I would want to hear from the community to make a decision. And also the report about like transportation. So it's going to be very hard to make this decision in February with limited community engagement. So I hope that that is at the forefront and really
It definitely is.
ramped up.
We are going to be out regionally and within our district, not just at one side or another. We're going to be out regionally, get as much input as we can. Our demographers know that we're going to be asking them a lot of questions here coming up so that we can get a lot of adjustments and amendments made as needed, so that we can make sure that we are sharing the same information with our committee, that we're sharing with the board, that we're sharing with the public. We're not going to be, changing maps between here and here. We're going to make sure that everybody has the same information so that we're all in this together.
And on the Boundary Adjustment Committee, I know last time you didn't have parents. Did we add parents to that committee? Because I know
There were none added this time, that they happened close together, but we did get contact information, and our communications teams is working to try and get that information out.
Any other questions? I do have additional questions. Based on all the pictures and numbers you see, it looks like North Merced is growing.
Absolutely.
And so say we go with scenario 3, you move students, and then 2 years from now or 3 years from now, we build a new school, or it'll take maybe 4 to 5 years. Then we have to move students again, change boundaries again? Is that?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is a never-ending process. I mean, there's always going to be, changes for one reason or another. But we did this a few years ago. We did it, when my kids were in school, is when we moved the sixth graders from middle school to elementary. I've had students, or my kids have gone, my oldest was at sixth grade at Crookshank, and my youngest the twins were at Peterson for sixth grade. So I've seen both sides of it. I've gone through them both. It's part of life. And unfortunately, here as a district, as the community grows and as things change, we're going to go through this again at some point in time. What we're trying to do to avoid is, if we have to do something major now, we don't want to do something major again unless there is a new school being open as well. We want to make sure that the next time is going to be small and minor compared to what we have to do if we have to do a big one.
But we are doing 2 major things, correct? We will move.
Yeah, we're looking to change our institution, the way we teach our sixth graders. So.
I was just going to say, I think one of the things that you brought up about this process is nobody's going to walk away from this 100% happy. And so we need to be mindful of that it is this fluid process that we're going to be going through. And you might be in the winning column this time, but you might be in the losing column next time. We're just going to be doing the best we can to meet the needs of the students.
Right. And no matter what we do, we're going to upset some folks along the way. We just have to make sure have the greater good in mind. So.
I would add to that too. We want to make sure we're notifying parents early for those that are impacted for arrangements. Absolutely.
I understand that it's part of the process, but let's hope it's few in between. This is not going to be a ongoing thing that we do. So maybe 10 years or 12 years from now, we can do it. But I'm just saying that I don't want it every 3 or 4 years. This is to,
Yeah, it's not an ideal situation. We understand.
Okay.
So.
Okay, if we have no other questions, we will move to the next item.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Bain, for the presentation and answering all our questions. And we're at the consent agenda item. Items placed under the consent category are considered routine in nature and/or within the 35,000 threshold. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted. Any motion to approve the consent agenda? Any questions? Do you want to pull out anything? If so, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
There's a motion to approve by Trustee McCutcheon. Any second? If not, I'll second. There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have, so motion, everybody approves, so motion is passed? Yes. And the next item is board action, superintendents. California School Boards Association nominations for delegate assembly. Presentation, Superintendent Stocking.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. We ask now that we have a nomination for California School Boards Association nomination for Delegate Assembly. The CSBA's Delegate Assembly is a vital link in the association's governance structure, working with local districts, county offices of education, the board of directors, and the executive committee. Delegates ensure that the association reflects the interest of the school districts and county offices of education throughout the state. Members meet twice a year. If we can get a nomination.
Any board, we have any public comments on this item? If not, we'll move to board discussion. Who would like to be on this? Who would like to be nominated? So you have to run for an election?
You would nominate, and then you would be the representative for our school board.
So you don't have to run for anything?
My understanding is no.
President. Go ahead.
I nominate President Laccaretti, Trustee Laccaretti.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. A motion by Clerk Delgado, a second by Trustee Zhang. All those in favor? Those who oppose? Motion carries. All ayes, and there's no nays, so motion carries. The next item is Board Action Administrative Services, Resolution A-01, 2024-25, resolution for award of contract to pay for pallet racking storage system at the Operational Support Services Center warehouse. Presentation, Dr. Doug Williams. Dr. Williams, your microphone.
Okay, I'll start over. Good evening, Madam President, trustees, superintendent, and cabinet. There is a resolution with this. Would you like me to read it, or would you like me to give you the abbreviated Cliff Note version? Okay, I see the head nod. So basically, we went out to advertise for rack storage for the new warehouse. We had 0 responses on our competitive public bids. So therefore, we have presented this resolution to basically go ahead and move forward. We do have a vendor that's willing and looking to work with us for what we need for the storage racking, but we did not have anyone who came back to the bids. So that's where we're at right now with this resolution. So with that, it is recommended that the Board of Education accept and approve Resolution A-1-2024-2025, resolution for award of contract to PAPE for pallet racking storage system at the OSSC warehouse, and Exhibit A as presented.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Any board discussion on this item? Again, I did see in the report that you tried, and you guys went out and tried a bid, and so we're just going to go with this, so I appreciate the work. Is there a motion to approve this resolution? Motion to approve by Trustee McCutcheon. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Clerk Delgado. There's a motion, a second. All those in favor? Any nays? The motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. The next board item is Board Action Human Resources, public hearing and action regarding the Sunshine Letter from Merced City School District to Merced City Teachers Association. Presentation, Dr. Dawn Hubble.
Good evening again, and thank you. So earlier in this agenda for this evening, you saw an information item for one part of the Sunshine process. And for the part of our letter from MCSD for the Sunshine process that would open the negotiation process, this does require a public hearing. And the purpose of this is to provide input for the proposals so that the negotiations can begin. So I'm asking that you open a hearing to disclose an opportunity for our public to engage with the proposals for negotiation so that the onset of negotiations can begin.
So we just open it up for public comment at 8:20. We're opening up for public comment. Any public comment? Any online or virtually?
Excuse me, President Laccaretti, we have one caller in the queue. I'll admit them now.
Yes, thank you. Caller, please press *6 to mute your phone or unmute. Please go ahead with your comment. Please press *6 to unmute. Caller, can you hear us?
President Laccaretti, it looks like the caller has dropped off.
Okay, thank you. And any in-person comments? If not, we'll close public hearing and then bring it back to the board for any board discussion. Looks like we have no questions. So can I have a motion to approve this as presented?
I make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by trustee McCutcheon, second by trustee Zhang. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. The next item is minimum wage compliance presentation, Dr. Dawn Hubble.
Good evening again.
Hello again.
Effective January 1st, 2025, California requires all employers within the state of California to increase minimum wage from $16 an hour to $16.50 per hour. All employees of MCSD who are at an hourly rate that falls below $16.50 will increase to that amount at $16.50 per hour. This increase in the minimum wage will ensure compliance with law. Attached to your agenda is a minimum wage increase for classified and noon supervisors. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the minimum wage increase to comply with law.
Thank you, Dr. Hubble. Is there any public comment in person or virtually? If not, I will open this item up for board discussion. Any questions? Comments? I am glad to see that by law we're doing this. Do you know, can you give us any information on how many employees are moving up to this rate and how it's going to have an impact on our budget, or if there's an impact on the budget?
There's a small population of classified employees and noon supervisors who are at the entry wage and at the rate of minimum wage. The number of employees, I'd be glad to add and include in your weekly briefing and include that information for you in the WAP.
Would appreciate that, thank you. Seeing that there is no questions or comments, I will look for a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by trustee McCutcheon. Is there a second? Second by trustee Zhang. All those in favor? Any nays? Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, we will add an item. It is not here, but we will add any board updates and superintendent reports. So we'll go with, can I get a motion to open it up so that we can have board updates and superintendent report? Because it's not a part of our agenda, so I would need a motion and a second to add this. Yeah, just run.
I make a motion.
Make a motion to add, I don't know, the second, no, the second. This is Trustee Dongshek, second, yes. So anybody want to say anything, any board updates? Any you can say, I'm glad to be here, or?
I'll say a couple of things.
Yes, thank you.
I'm really pleased to be here. As a parent, I'm really looking forward to making a difference at the board level. I'm a huge advocate for our community, and now that I sit on this side, I truly believe that I could bring a lot of asset to this table, but I also wanted to lean in to ask our parents to also participate, our classified, both classified and certificate also lean in. I think we work as a team, when we work together, we get things done better. And I think we're moving to 2025. I just want to make sure that all of you have a good experience, and that you elected me here. I wanted to have a good experience as well. So I've been doing this for over 30 years as a nonprofit directors, and I love to continue contribute. But thank you for all the vote out there and give me the opportunity to serve as board. And I look forward to working with this board and the new superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Zhang, and welcome to the board.
I would also like to take this opportunity to say thank you as well. I'm looking forward to working with this board as well as with the staff of the Merced City School District. We have a lot of work ahead of us, and I'm excited for us to dig in and begin getting it done. I think that we have a strong and positive energy, and I hope that we can capture that. And I think it's important that the community knows that we not only hear what they're saying, but that we're comprehending what they're saying, and our goal is to apply what they're saying because they are the stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome to the board. Any other comments? I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my fellow board members for nominating me to be the president. I was not expecting this today, so thank you for the honor, but I know it comes with a huge responsibility, and collectively, we have a lot of work to do with our new superintendent, and going to the CSBA conference confirmed that it is a governance team. It is all of us working together as a board that's going to move this district forward. We have a lot of work ahead, but I know we can do it because each of us are committed to the well-being of the district, well-being of the students, staff, community, parents, because if we succeed, they succeed, everyone succeeds. So again, I thank. But I also want to take this opportunity to thank President Brooks for his work and showing leadership on this board. So thank you. Let's give him a round of applause. Trustee Brooks, you took us through a very difficult period, and throughout all of this, you did it with grace, and you were always positive, cheerful, and your motivation and clap it up really kept us motivated. So I appreciate your service to this board as president, and I look forward to working with you. And one of the reasons I nominated Trustee Delgado to be a clerk is that in 2 years, 3 of us are either up for reelection or don't know what the plans are going to be. So in order to have continuity, I think it's really important in leadership to have folks that understand the process of being on leadership. So it is with that purpose that I had nominated Delgado. And so thank you for being here. And again, want to thank all our staff. Thank you to Superintendent Stocking for helping me with this today, because again, like I said, I was not expecting this today. And thank you all for staying till the end, because sometimes not exciting stuff happens at the end, but thank you for staying. And again, like I said last time, we're here, hold us accountable, ask questions, encourage, go back to your schools, your communities, tell them to come to the board meetings, because that's the only way we're gonna have a positive impact. So with that, I turn it over to Superintendent Stocking.
Thank you, Madam President Lacaretti. I would like to say good evening, trustees, and as well as to our community and team members sitting here in the audience with us today. I'd like to formally welcome Trustees Zia Zhang and Annie Delgado, who have joined the MCSD Board of Education as our new trustees, as well as thank you for your dedicated service as our past president, Trustee Brooks. Your optimism and focus on students is something that I always look forward to. I will continue to look forward to. And I think as shared here this evening, our district has embarked on a lot of great work, and we're also embarking on new great work together. And I think it is important that something our executive cabinet and all our team is discussing, how do we keep a focus on the work that we know needs to be done, that we've already started, on our students that really need additional supports and targeted supports, and how do we also develop a collective vision moving forward as one team. So I'm very appreciative and look forward to our work together as one team. I would also like to share, I'd like to make a comment. I had a formal statement ready to share today, but I'm really gonna speak from the heart right now. Regarding the comments with our head custodian from Chenoweth, one of my first weeks I met Jaime, our head custodian at Chenoweth. Immediately we connected because of course, he works at the 49er Stadium, although he's a Bears fan and I am a 49er fan. So we immediately had something positive to connect with. I knew that he was positively connected with the students when school had started, just seeing him connected and interacting with them. Yes, calling them by name, knowing who they are and having those connections not only with them, but also with our staff and our families. I do want our teams and our public to know that we do not make these decisions lightly. This impacted 8 of our team members throughout the district, and we believe all of our team members bring great strength to our school sites and to our district. As does Jaime, we have 7 others, and all of our custodial and maintenance and support staff. And so we hear you. We also know that these are sometimes larger changes that we have to make. I had the opportunity to speak to Jaime directly today, not superintendent to head custodian, but person to person. And I think that that's very important. He shared with me that, yes, change is difficult. He gave me some insight on how we can go about those situations in the future. And I will take that to our team and think about how we do interact with our team members moving forward, and we will do so. And he's looking forward to continuing working with kids at his new site, knowing it will be difficult. He will miss Chenoweth. We will keep those connections and ensure that we have someone. We know that we'll have big shoes to fill at Chenoweth. I know that Chenoweth is a great staff and wants to continue to be a great team, and we'll work together through that transition. And happy to continue to meet with the team and hear their concerns as we work through this transition. I look forward to working together to ensure the success of our students, staff, and families of Merced community. MCSD has and continues to be an amazing place to be. I'm excited to learn from everyone and continue to foster a culture of positivity. I'd like to share that MCSD families of kindergarten through 8th grade students, your children will be sent home with a winter reading log. Please encourage them to spend time reading this break, because if they complete the log and turn it into their school library by January 11th, they will be awarded a special prize. We're very excited about this. And we know we've got Battle of the Books currently in motion. So just really supporting our literacy focus for our students through break. I want to wish our MCSD community a restful and joyful holiday break. I know this is a time that I like to get some work done while schools are not in session, as some of us work through the holidays, but also to spend some time with my family and friends. And I really do hope that our team members will do the same. And we look forward to seeing you all back on January 6th for a fresh start to 2025 and a strong finish to the school year. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you, Superintendent Stocking. With that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Yes, time.
Oh, time is 8:33. So we don't, because here it says motion and second.
No.
Okay, so we adjourn at 8:33. Thank you all.